up, let it ride.
Let everybody, because what a show do we have today, boy! I mean, we are not disappointing in any which way.
I can't even talk.
Little show that could.
Oh, Suki, we. I mean, listen. While everybody's loading up, we won't start the. We won't do the intro yet. But man, oh man! By the way, you look absolutely radiant in your new prison cell.
Yeah,
there.
we're kind of setting this up. So my husband.
I like it, Suk. I like it.
My husband had commandeered this room, but things are happening, for our show.
And everybody's
get out of the kitchen.
Yeah, everybody.
Gotta get out
hey, you know what? I like my women in the kitchen, Suki. You know what I'm saying? It's you know.
So that was cool for what it was. And you know what? When when the kids were like at home and I could keep an eye and do my job. It all worked well. But now let's try and up the ante a little bit.
Yeah,
so we're going to try and situate this room.
Listen, the lighting is nice and even. I think I need to come by, give you a brick wall and a Caddyshack poster, and we're off and running, and you're set to go in the back.
Yeah, Eric was saying maybe just put up a screen or something like that and just make it happen.
Yeah, no, it's good. The lighting's good. You don't have the light coming in from the
with the logo in the TV.
Yeah. Listen, my wheels are already turning, Suk. I can see the room. I like it. I like it. Looks like you're on house arrest, but it's fine.
It kind of looks like I'm in house arrest right now, but we'll try and warm it up as it goes along. We'll decorate.
Oh man, coming off Thanksgiving week,
it's just a reason to go to Home Goods. It's a woman's happy place.
Oh baby, I'm coming by with some stuff. My bowling trophies we could put in the back.
By the way, can we just you're a huge Fleetwood Mac fan, right?
Yes, I know.
Everybody McVie passed away, and just want to say, wow, thanks for the music, thanks for the good times, thanks for everything. And you know who passed away today?
Gaylord Perry, who I know you were a big fan of. You know the name Gaylord Perry, right?
Yeah.
The pitcher Gaylord Perry. Yeah, he passed away today. Christine McVie from Fleetwood Mac.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet
little lies.
So many songs for Fleetwood Mac.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. But yeah, it's just people are dropping like flies. But it's not dropping, Suk, this show.
No. That's a good transition. The show keeps on going. Can we show everybody the outlets that we're growing on now?
Suki, here we are right here. Look at all of these distribution sites. It is absolutely insane. Tubi, Local Now, the Family Channel. What's not even up there is we just started today on that station I was telling you about in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yes.
2.5 million homes in Vegas. I think we're on at noon there, so that'll be about 3 hours. So that'll be about 3 o'clock our time.
Eastern Standard Time, yes.
And we're just rolling along, babe. It's just, we have meetings each and every day, but in between all the business aspect of this show, we just continue to do the show. And Suk, we're not phoning it in.
No.
When I tell you, I mean, we're all Hollywood today because we have had so many amazing guests on, legendary guests, Suk, and it continues to grow. The one and only Clint Howard is here today. Clint Howard has been in literally hundreds of movies, TV shows. Comes from just a total Hollywood family. His brother Ron, his parents were actors. So much to talk to him about. And then later on, Sean Kanan, he's in Cobra Kai right now. He was in Karate Kid 3. But soon as I put that up, Suk, that these two guys were coming on, immediately my mother, who's 86 years old, that's my guy from Bold and Beautiful. That's Deacon from Bold and Beautiful. I was going to say,
yes, Cobra Kai for you, but Bold and the Beautiful for the rest of us.
Right. It was General Hospital and so many great films. So he's coming up later on. So much to talk to with Clint. Philly Kid joins us live later on in the OT. You ready to rock and roll? We start the show?
Let's do it, Scotty.
There we go, Suk. In 3, 2, and 1.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, that's 7 of Hearts.
Woo!
Exactly.
This is a sexy show. Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and there was a question Respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the Kung Flu, is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen.
Really?
Your intro is fantastic.
A gathering of angels appeared upon my head, Suki. They
Why are you
sang to me this song of hope because I just saw Dennis DeYoung in the intro.
Oh, yes. I was like, why are we going to Sticks? Why are we going
Come
Sticks?
sail away, come sail away. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We continue to roll along. If you're saying to yourself, hey, I just flipped the show on here on Facebook Live, and Suki, where's the kitchen?
I know, everybody. Yeah, I know you're wondering where the background is. I might go back to it depending on how things are going, or we might stay here.
I think it looks good. I think it looks good.
Like,
we have to dress up the background. The lighting is perfect. Your face, your skin looks radiant.
Good. My old face looks good. Good.
Yeah. And we just need to, we give you a little personality in the background. That's all,
We're getting there. We're getting there, my friend.
Yeah, we're getting there. Listen, it's all about the guest, Suki. It's not about us. It's about the guest.
About us. But whereas we're trying to build it and make it a little bit bolder. Hey, Scotty, the expansion of the Suki and Scott continues every day.
Oh, Suk, it's unbelievable. And, I was just happened to be walking through Times Square the other day, and here it is, the Suki and Scott Show billboard, still flying high, Suki, above Times Square. And it just continues to grow. We take meetings every day, big Hollywood movie stars every day. And
especially today.
Yeah. Oh, my God. What a show today, Suk. Clint Howard is with us. You know Clint Howard. He's been in hundreds of movies and TV shows. Apollo 13. The Water Boy. I mean, the list goes on and on. He's been in Star Trek back in the day. Suk, when he was 2 years old, he was on the Andy Griffith Show with his brother Ron. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of appearances there. General Ben. I mean, he's done it all. We got some great things to talk to him about. And then Sean Kanan's coming on a little later on. Of course, Karate Kid, Cobra. Have you watched Cobra Kai yet, Suk, or no?
I watched the first 2 seasons. Yeah.
So you haven't seen him in season 5 yet.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Sean Kanan's in season 5. And of course, even more well known as Deacon from Bold and the Beautiful. I know the women are getting all, chills on their arms. And he's, he's a good looking dude. And Sean's coming up a little later on. He's got a book out. Clint and his brother Ron Howard have a book out. Mm-hmm. So it's just going to be a lot of fun today. But listen, we keep rolling along. We're into December already. And the holidays are.
Hey, the stretchy pants are on.
The stretchy pants are on.
And we're just going to continue the season of stretchy pants. I mean,
oh my God,
it's just the way it is.
Are you still in?
We're heading into 2023. I was just having this moment. 2023.
2023. Right. You and I, we started this little hobby back in 2020. So February for us will be 3 years, over 350 shows. And Suk, one of these days, someone's going to smarten up, and we're going to be on broadcast network television. That's all I can tell you. That is my Nostradamus-like prediction for this particular program. So that's all I could tell you. Clint's here. Clint Howard's in the green room. He's a very busy man, Suk. I don't want to keep him waiting. But again, he's had such a prolific career, and he keeps on going. He's been in so many movies that he's starred in, movies that you may not have even known he was in.
Classics.
Cult classics.
Classics.
Horror films, you name it. He's been in it. Let me give you a little bit of Clint Howard. Ice Cream Man, one of my favorites, putting the body parts in the ice cream. Here's Clint, and then we're going to bring him in on the other side. Take a look. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Clint, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing wonderfully, especially after that intro. You took a pretty deep dive when you dug up the dentist part 2.
Oh, I love the dentist part 2. Man, Clint, I hate the dentist, and I remember the debt with I just lost his name.
Corbin
Burnson, and just that scene with you. I went back, I was looking at, I'm like, oh, dude, it was just awful.
Yeah, directed by a fellow named Brian Usna, and that day of work, Corbin and I it was a wonderful, wonderful, probably half a day of work because, of course,
there you go.
In a low budget movie like that, you're flying. And Brian is a wonderful man and a wonderful director, and he really lets the actors. Brian lets the actors do what they do, which is act, which is really wonderful. So anyway, when I saw that pop up on the screen, I went, wow.
Yeah, we do a lot of deep dives here on this show.
Yeah.
The amazing thing to me, I was telling Suki earlier, is even from the time when you were a kid actor, you have basically you've kept the same look throughout your whole life. It's wild because the minute you look at you, you know exactly who it is, whether you're a kid, middle-aged, or whatever, and you just kept the same look the whole time, which I guess as an actor, that's pretty good for longevity.
It seems to have worked for me. I mean, honestly, first of all, I don't have anything to do with it. That was Mom, Dad, and God. And I've avoided things that have taken a lot of facial reconstruction or anything like that. I obviously haven't had a lot of surgery to enhance or augment. I figured out a few years ago, Clint Howard didn't need a lot of augmentation. So anyway, I just, I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. And, as I certainly have, I look more like Baylock every day. I hope you relish it as much as I.
What a character, Baylock. I mean, that's like a cult classic as well, too. I mean, come on. You've had the privilege of playing so many people and so many characters that are, I don't know. I was talking about the Ice Cream Man because I introduced the Ice Cream Man to my son this Halloween. I said, you want to see a good movie that's going to get you? He's like, yeah, Mom, I want to see one. I was like, this is what we used to watch when we were young. And he absolutely loved it. What do you think about some of the movies that you've been in that have tentacles till to this day because they are cult classics?
Well, it's mind-boggling. And I have never, even today, even now as a 63-year-old man, I mean, I don't think about something and project out about how it's going to be playing in 20 years. Ice Cream Man, which, by the way, Norman Epstein, the director, and I, we are retooling. We are doing another Ice Cream Man. We've decided we're gonna make another Ice Cream Man.
Yes. I love it.
It's not a sequel. It's not what it is it's me. We're creating a character where I'm going to play this kind of old, tired, angry Ice Cream Man.
We have a couple in our blocks, couple of them.
It's just gotten tired with these little kids giving them a hard time, and it's payback time. So anyway, so that's a thing. When Ice Cream Man comes up, it's something that I'm thinking about currently because we're trying to make another one. But as all the work that I did, both as a kid and then in the early days of my adult career, to think that movies would have legs, I just didn't think that way. Listen, as an actor, I idolized my dad. Idolized is not really the word. I watched him and I learned from him. And my dad was absolutely a brilliant, brilliant dude. And I loved him and I still love him. And he was a working actor. It really is all about the work. It's all about preparing. It's all about doing the job and kick it in the ass, as Dad used to say. Kick it in the ass.
Yes, I like
and it was so, you take it job by job. And I remember the jobs I did as a child, the ones that are iconic, like Star Trek. To me, I was excited because it was a science fiction show. I didn't know much about it because it had it hadn't been on the air yet. I was one of the first episodes that they actually filmed.
Yeah.
But I was excited because it was science fiction. I thought it was cool, but I didn't think it was going to have any long-term, long-term effect. Another thing, a little quick story about that. When in about 1976, I believe, probably 76, I might be off a year or so, I auditioned for Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
My brother, I auditioned for Luke Skywalker.
Wow.
Mark Hamill and I are about the same age.
Okay.
And Ron had worked with George Lucas on American Graffiti, so they knew who I was.
One of my favorite movies, by the way.
American Graffiti was a great picture.
Love that movie.
George, brilliant guy. But now in this instance, I'm preparing to go in for this adult role. I'm excited. I mean, I'm still a kid in high school, but I'm getting a chance to read for an adult role. And I go into the room, and first of all, Francis Coppola, who was friends with George, and they he was in the room, and I was blown away because, of course, I knew who Francis was, and I saw other people in the room, and I didn't see George. George was hidden behind a big chair, a big leather chair. George, not a very big guy, and he was obscured by this chair, and he spun around in this chair, and he looked at me, and he went, "Commander Baylock, Corbomite maneuver." And I said, in my mind, I'm thinking, George, get a freaking life. He was like one of the original Star Trek geeks.
That's so great.
This was before syndication. This was before DVD and, of course, before videotape. But yet, for whatever reason, that episode of Star Trek, the Corbomite maneuver, where I played that 600-year-old alien who was going toe-to-toe intellectually with Captain Kirk. It just, like George said, he goes, it was his favorite episode. I've had dozens and dozens, maybe more than that, of people that have looked me in the eye and said, it's my favorite episode.
Wow.
And, at the time when I was trying to get that job, which of course, obviously I didn't get, but it really threw me off because you see, when I was 16 or 17 years old, trying to get an adult role, the last thing I wanted was somebody to recall something I did when I was a baby.
Right.
It's only been recently that I have understood the impact that my work in television and film has had.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, like Austin Powers. I mean, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Clint, but back, I was reading your bio, and I mean, literally at 2 years old, and you're not going to remember this except from what you look at on video, on the Andy Griffith Show. And Ron was on there as Opie already. When you obviously you couldn't know what the hell was going on at the time, but when you look back at that, I mean, that's one of the most iconic, shows on TV, especially when we were growing up. And you literally have been in this business since you're 2 years old. It's wild.
Well, technically speaking, coming up in probably about 2 weeks, it will mark my 61st year as a professional actor. Because I worked in December of 1961. Wow. And in fact, it was that image right there. That's the first thing I ever did.
Wow, look at you.
episode of the Andy Griffith Show. And of course, listen, I love that show. That shit's a well-written show. The humor, Don, Andy, Ron, all the Ernest T. Bass. It was just a brilliantly done show. And I just was very fortunate to have been the little guy there in the right spot, and there was a director named Bob Sweeney who saw me, because once in a while I would go down to the set and play. My dad would be off working on something, and my mom would have to watch Ron. And of course, no babysitters, I would come along. And Bob Sweeney took one look at me and said, I got an idea. I think we can do a cute little bit. And I did a bit on that first episode, and I think I ended up doing 5 or 6 other episodes. And the peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I would hand people, offer my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, became the staple of Leon. Now, Leon never said anything, and I have no memories of working on the show.
Wow.
Here's one that I've kind of figured out of it. I have memories of telling the stories. But my memories actually of really working in the business don't really kick off until I'm about 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, probably right around the General Ben days.
Yeah, well, I remember Gentle Ben pretty well. I remember bits and pieces of working on Star Trek.
Wow.
But that Gentle Ben was, first of all, a very memorable show for a kid from Burbank to fly to Florida and get to play with a big 650-pound bear.
That's great.
And they didn't inflate that figure. Bruno was the money bear. Bruno was a huge animal. And, so of course it's memorable to me. It was memorable with all the animals and the environment. I was down there with my dad because my dad, Rance Howard, was working on the show, as Dennis Weaver's sidekick. So I was batching it with him. I was batching it with my dad down in Florida for a couple of years and just had a blast. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
What was it like writing that book? I mean, Scott had just popped it up, The Boys. A family memoir, a Hollywood and in Hollywood and a family. What was that like to team up with your brother to come up with these memories, these stories, these thoughts, and just, what did you learn from the process of putting it all on paper?
Well, first of all, it reminded me how grateful I should be, and I am, having lived this extraordinary life.
Yeah. It is.
And my brother is an awesome dude. He's, he may be a Hall of Fame film director, but he's actually a better Big Brother
than
film director.
Oh, I love you for saying that.
And after Dad passed away, which Ron and I both tried to get Dad to write a book, because man, the wealth of knowledge that he had, both just being around in the business. I think he was like 1,800 in Screen Actors Guild. Which is, this phenomenally low number. I mean, he got in really young.
Early,
He was 21 years old. But then his experience working with child actors is just unparalleled. I mean, listen, there's been lots of good child actors, and Ron was really good, and I've done good work, and Dad was great. He had no interest. Dad had no interest in writing a book about his past, or Dad was always a forward-thinking guy, but after Dad passed away, Ron and I thought, wow, we should do something. We should do something to memorialize them. And, as we pitched it back and forth, it quickly became, we can write this family love letter to Mom and Dad. This, just and laying it all out. We didn't make anything up. We didn't hide anything. It's about it. There was no scandals. There was no, not a lot of BS. We put it all in the book. And we worked up a presentation, and we, of course, as businessmen or whatever, we pitched it around, and we found buyer. Obviously, it was, it's a good idea. We knew it was a good idea.
Yeah.
And then we set out to do it, and it was really an emotional experience on a lot of levels. The real pure emotional experience for me was reading it. Mm-hmm. When I had to read the words that I wrote, it became very difficult. Because I was just constantly cracking up and constantly crying. But the process of writing the book was, first of all, we wrote it right in the middle of COVID. So we didn't see each other much. We were back and forth with emails and Skype and FaceTime and exchanging texts and stuff. And we got a good workflow going. And I loved reading what the pages Ron was
writing.
To the mill, because here's an interesting fact. When Ron and I were kids, we never talked shop. When I was 5 and he was 10, we didn't talk about being in the business. When he was 15 and I was 10, we never talked about being in the business. It wasn't until he became a director and we were talking about, kind of making films and how do you best enhance your, the quality of the project. But when we were kids, man, when we were together, it was all about sports. It was all about, the Dodgers or the Lakers, and later on it became about girls. Although Ron and I, being 5 years apart, it's a great spread.
It is a big spread. Yeah.
Yeah. And, because there was never any competition between Ron and I. Ron was 15, I was 10.
Yeah.
Right.
Which made for an interesting book because my perspective on things was different than his, because I was a little guy when Ron was 15 and he started to have, kind of adult perspectives on things. I was still a kid, So anyway, we had a blast and it's been fun. It was fun promoting it, fun going out on tour with Ron. It was fun. Our families getting together, and my wife, Kat, was absolutely instrumental in keeping me focused and keeping me, on track to write the book. And then, once we did the press tour, getting to share that with her was fun. And listen, I'm a New York Times bestseller. That is something no one can ever take away from me.
Can't take it away from you.
I am a New York Times bestseller.
New York Times bestseller. And listen, when one of my favorite Seinfeld episodes is this one.
Oh, yes.
When these two guys are in the cop car, they throw you up against the car and they throw you in. I mean, it's just, you just play this is you, man. That's your character as you sit next to these two guys. Just a whacked out character.
Well, but yet, you know what? It's a team effort.
Oh, yeah.
With every piece of work that you see on film, it's a team effort. Those guys, they were so good. And Larry Charles, the guy that directed that episode, it was so good. The writing was so good. It just felt awesome. And, in fact, when I go and do personal appearances at autograph shows or, horror conventions or something, I have a Seinfeld photo that a lot of people want me to sign. And of course I have to put on the photo, Ann Landers sucks. and because that was the line. And
that was a line. Yeah.
Here's a little inside bit. That was not the line in the script.
Oh, was it?
As we were doing the scene, and we were shooting in a real car. It wasn't like us in front of an audience. We were shooting in a car, so it was a cameraman. The director wasn't even there. It was just Jerry was sort of running the show, and we're doing the scene. Everything's going good, and when it comes to that line, I choked and I just blurted out, "Ann Landers sucks." I forgot the line. Okay, cut. And then I immediately say to Jerry, Jerry, as he's getting out of the car, I say, "I'm sorry, let's go around the block one more time and we'll do it again."
Do it.
And he bends down and looks at me because I'm still in the car and he's now gotten out of the car. After I say, "Let's stop, let's do it again," he looks down at me and he goes, "Are you kidding?" Because he knew how good it was.
It was brilliant.
He knew how the rhythm landed just perfectly. So anyway, again, listen, at times, like on these shows and various things, it's like, I'm getting credit. And yeah, I have something to do with my work. However, in this business, it really is a team effort. It's about the writing. It's about the directing. It's about your acting partners. It even is about the wardrobe and the makeup. So I'm part of a collective thing that I really appreciate.
Yeah, you used to do. I know when you were younger, you had this like a rock group called, was it Kempster, right? Something like that. Are you still into music and performing? Or you guys, is that no more?
Oh no. Well, first of all, I love music. I mean, the first time I heard David Bowie and Lou Reed, I just absolutely my mouth dropped open and I went, my God, people can do that. People can actually put words to music like that and have it affect me like that. So I've always been a huge fan of music. I did the Kempsters from like 1981 to 1983 or 84. We're on for, we played a lot of LA clubs,
right?
Opened for a lot of punk acts. We were very active for those years. And yeah, I was the front man. I wrote the words, and a dear friend of mine, Scott Green, wrote the music. And we had a great band, and we actually have a little CD that I personally made and put it out there, and it's available for purchase.
I love it.
It's called "No Brains at All," because that was our signature song. Our signature song was "No Brains at All."
Well, hold on. Let me show Suki and our audience a little bit of you guys in action. Take a look.
Chased from the lines, beat up after school, made such a fool, ain't even cool, caught in a jam, he'll never know the worst, he's a left-handed boy, in a right-handed world, he's a left-handed boy.
God, I love it.
Yeah.
Clint, let me hear. I know you were singing along. Let me hear a little a cappella, "Left-handed boy in a right-handed world." Go ahead.
Chased from the lines, beat up after school, Made such a fool. Ain't even cool. Caught in a jam. He'll never know the worst. He's a left-handed boy in a right-handed world.
Love it.
Nice, man. Nice.
You got me to do something I vowed I would never ever do.
That's what we do here on this fine program. And listen, we've been talking about these hundreds of movies and TV shows that you've been in. So we've come to the point on the show. We're about to play a quick round of Clint Howard movie madness. And what we're going to do, Clint, is we're going to take 5 movies. I'm going to give you the synopsis of those movies. You tell me the name of the movie that you starred in. Okay, you've been in so many. We like to see if you remember them all. All right, we've had people on Lou
so many credits.
Jr. with just credits up the yin yang, and some people can't remember all the movies they've done. It's wild. So for example, I'll give you this one. And I'll read the synopsis as it reads on IMDb, and you tell me
to finish. Do you want me to finish having you read the synopsis, or do you want me to just chime in?
They're short.
Just the name.
They're like 3 seconds. They're 3 seconds. So here's the first one. For example, children alert the police to a disturbed vendor who blends human parts into his frozen contraptions.
Oh, that's Ice Cream Man.
Yeah,
that would be the Ice Cream Man, which we're looking for a reboot coming up very soon. So you're 1 for 1. Here's the next one. When a homeless Chihuahua is adopted by a wealthy elderly woman, he protects her fortune. Yes, look at you. It is Ping. That's the right answer. Look at you right there.
Judge Reinhold and Shirley Jones.
I like it. Wow. I like it. Look at that. Here we go. We meant this is easy. A doctor leaves a mental institution working on mouths.
Oh, the dentist.
Dentist part 2, my friend. I need part 2.
I got it.
Here we go. Bullied by classmates. A pudgy military. Look at you.
Look at you. You have an amazing memory.
And here's the last one. You ready?
Okay.
An uncool high schooler forms his own group to beat the local hot band. What is the name of that movie?
I think I can probably remember that because I wrote it. It's called Cotton Candy.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Cotton Candy. Look at you, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you get that song from the Kepsters in there?
No, Cotton Candy, honestly, was one of the reasons why I decided I was going to take a whack at doing music. And because I felt like that music came up a little short. It was a little TV. It was a little poppy, although I still hum some of the songs from Cotton Candy. They were catchy. The fellow that did the music was a guy named Joe Renzetti, who previously had won an Academy Award for the Buddy Holly story.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Nice.
So he did the music. But yeah, no, I worked in Cotton Candy. My brother and I wrote Cotton Candy. And then, I acted in it. Ron directed it. We had a wonderful time. And then afterwards, at that time, I ended up being about 20 years old. And I bought a house. And my best friend, Scott Green, moved in. Of course, he was going to be my roommate. And we didn't have anything. We didn't have any furniture. It made the living room was an ideal place to set up musical equipment because we didn't have any furniture. And of course, then the house became the Burbank Youth Center, and a lot of junior debauchery went on there for a few years. The fond memories of the Kempsters, Clint Howard and the Kempsters.
What was the biggest lesson you learned from your father, and then you think you and your brother took away?
Well, boy. Suki, there were literally hundreds of lessons. First of all, one huge lesson is be prepared. Suit up and show up being prepared. One simple thing that is, show up having had lunch, having had breakfast. When you show up to work as an actor, don't show up expecting to go through the craft service line or go to the Roach Coach and eat. You show up ready to work. And here's another thing is you must be good at 5:30 in the afternoon or at 9:30 at night. Anybody can be an actor when they're fresh at 8 o'clock in the morning, but you got to realize that, they're paying you, you're a pro, and you got to be good all day long. And I remember that lesson. I have to remind myself of that lesson because everybody gets tired.
Mm-hmm.
You know, five cups of coffee and El Pollo Loco. No offense to El Pollo Loco, but 5 cups of coffee and a bad second meal. And who really wants to really kick it?
I love
But
it.
yet,
you
my job as an actor is to be as good after that 5th cup of coffee and that lousy meal as I was. And I feel bad now because I mentioned El Pollo Loco, which I eat at a lot.
I love Pollo Loco.
I do too, but it's just that it is a traditional second meal in show business. You either get
I didn't know that.
Or Pollo Loco. Yeah.
I love it. Clint, real quick.
I'm gonna get sued. I'm gonna get
sued.
Pollo Loco. Clint, before we go, top of mind, first thing that comes to mind, favorite movie you've ever done?
Apollo 13.
Apollo 13. Wow.
Getting to be in that movie, what the movie ended up becoming.
Yeah.
And then getting to be in it, getting to be around Ed Harris, getting to be around those technical advisors, guys that actually, Dave Scott, one of our technical advisors, was the first man to drive on the moon. And to be able to sit and talk with him, was an all-time experience. And also, just on top of that, the movie is really absolutely brilliant.
It's a classic. Yep. It's a classic. Clint, listen, man, thank you so much for coming on. Absolute pleasure.
So
amazing career. Did you have fun? As long as you just want you to have fun.
I did. And I also want to let you know, I want to piggyback something Eric Roberts said in the opening. Yeah, you got a great opening, but the show is better than the opening. So, there you go.
Thank you, my man. That'll make the next demo clip, Clint, by the way. Clint, have a great holiday, my man. Congrats on everything. And, just keep your head straight ahead and focus.
You're going to be a huge success.
You're going to be huge in this business, Clint.
For the next 60 years.
Take care, my friend.
Happy holidays to you guys, too.
You too, buddy.
Thank you, Clint. Thank you so much.
Suki, what a great guy.
he could tell stories all day.
I could literally sit here all day.
Just listen.
I mean, it's fantastic.
I mean,
he's one of those guys you want to have.
Sharp.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's recollecting names, times, moments, years, lines. I mean, sharp.
Suk, I couldn't get one movie past him. It's unbelievable. We couldn't get one movie past him.
I mean,
listen, we're gonna restart the show.
I'm gonna make it more beautiful.
As always, we do 2 in 1 here on this fine program. And Sean Kanan is here. He's in the green room, of course, doing his thing. Cobra Kai. My mother was freaking out. Bold and beautiful. It's taken. Holy Christ, it's taken. Tell him I love him. Of course, AJ Quartermain from General Hospital and
the AJ Quartermain.
It was I'm a big Cobra Kai fan, Suk, and it was great seeing him pop in on season 5. He plays a great role. Plays his character, Mike Barnes from the old one, and it's just it's really cool. So let's restart us up, and we're gonna get Sean in a second. Here we go. We'll restart it, and 3, 2, and 1.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott, that's 7 of Hearts. Exactly.
This is a sexy show. Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the kung flu. Is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
That's the best intro for a show I maybe have ever seen.
Really?
Your intro is fantastic.
Yes, Suki, my dear. Look at you and your beautiful, newly lit room there.
Our house is usually lit. We're trying something different. It looks a little empty, but you know what? We're gonna spruce this up and we're gonna get it going. You know, we're gonna put some posters up. Should I put my many awards and circling all around and just?
I gotta stop by. We gotta pop a little personality into that background. You know, I was telling Sean Kane, and usually he was waiting to see your kitchen suit. That kitchen,
my kitchen, my door.
That's been in so many magazines.
I don't know. God bless these half days, these parent teacher conferences. I'm like, why are you home right now? Like, why? Why is anybody home?
So are you telling me Leo the pooch is locked out of that room right now?
He's locked out.
Is that what's happening?
You can't see Leo.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. Well, Suk, listen, what a great show we have today.
So glad to be here with you.
Listen, you know our audience across many platforms across the country and the world who watch us on on all these platforms.
On so many broadcast and streaming platforms. Yeah.
Yes. And we just added like another station in Las Vegas, which I think we started airing today. So partners just keep loading up. But our audience is literally, I always say it's you know, we do the research and it's females 45 plus, right? There's no denying, even though we have nostalgic guests on, we have influencers on, our audience is 45 plus women across the board. Would you say that? Would you agree with that assessment?
100% being one of them in that demo. Yes.
All right. I've reached into my Nielsen bag of research and I pulled out that demo. And the minute I put up that graphic, that Sean Kanan was joining us on this show, immediately I'm getting text messages with his picture. My 86-year-old mother, upstate New York. Suk, when my mother comes to visit me,
I love her.
She can't, Ma, you want to go to the mall? Ma, you want to go to the park? Ma, it's beautiful. No. I got to catch my stories.
You know what that means.
I got to catch my stories. Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful. I'm like, Ma, they have this new thing. It's called a DVR. I could set it up for you. You can watch it anytime. No. I've got it. So if I call her, well, I think it's over now. But if you call her between 12 and 1:30 in the afternoon, blasting the stories, Young and the Restless. But she's like, you know, that's my boy from Bold and the Beautiful. Like, yes, Ma, I know he's on Bold and the Beautiful. It's my guy, AJ Quartermain from General Hospital. Know, my wife, a huge fan of GH. But again, I was so happy to see him in
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Fifth season.
You haven't gotten to the fifth season yet.
I'm at the end of the third, starting the fourth. My son's already on the fourth, so I have to catch up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know? No, it's great. It's great, and it's great. And Ralph Macchio, you know, when they first see Mike Barnes, they're following him. They think he's part of this deep dark underground with Terry, the sensei. He reaches into his trunk. He's pulling out, you know, chainsaws and all these weapons, and he goes into the back of the store, and it turns out to be his furniture store, and he's cutting the furniture.
Wait, you mean he's not the bad boy of karate?
Right. No, he's not the bad. You know, everybody grows up eventually, but it's really funny, and he comes back toward the end. He plays a great part, and it's so cool, and he's in a couple of good fight scenes. But here he is. Here's a little bit of Sean, and then we'll bring him in on the other side. Take a look. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Emmy Award-winning Sean Keaton.
Sean, how are you, pal?
I'm doing great, Scott. Thanks so much for having me back. I appreciate it.
You got it. Hold on. You know what? Let me get that screen up. There we go. Listen, man. First of all, I'm used to being the best looking guy in the program.
I've got good lighting and it's a lot of Botox.
You really do have good hair and lighting. It's unbelievable. How you doing, man? It's great to have you on, bud.
I'm doing great. It's a very exciting time in my life.
Yeah, you were just overseas, right, for a little while?
I was. We just got back from an epic trip that started in Dubai.
Oh, wow.
And then we went to Milan and Rome and Naples and Paris, London, and back. And so I'm.
How long were you away for? That sounds incredible.
We were gone for I think 16 or 17 days.
Beautiful.
Was that a Cobra Kai trip?
You know, it was a mixture of some work and some a family vacation.
Nice.
You know? So
nice.
I did a big Comic-Con in Dubai with Chris Hemsworth, which was really great.
Wow.
And then I did a TV show in Milan called Verissimo. And then I did some interviews in Paris, and the rest of the time was, sightseeing, touring, going out for great meals, all that sort of stuff.
Scott, you're kind of lucky you weren't there, because what would it be like walking in with Sean and Chris Hemsworth? I mean,
I know, Jesus.
I don't know.
I got nothing, Suki. I got nothing.
You
Chris
got
Hemsworth. Nothing. Talk about feeling unlucky,
inadequate.
Anyway, Sean, listen, man, let's work backwards.
Okay.
The Cobra Kai, I remember it was years ago, right? Cobra Kai started as this little YouTube thing, right? That Ralph Macchio and William, what's William's last name? I just lost
Zabka.
it. William Zabka. Those guys kind of produced, and it was like, hey, check out this show on YouTube.
Yeah.
Let's see how people react to it, and then we'll see if we could get it picked up.
Amazing.
And sure enough, 5 seasons later, this thing is a worldwide phenomenon.
It's become a juggernaut, and I'll tell you, I'm really fortunate, because a lot of times when you join a show, once it's in its well-established 5th year, sometimes the show starts to become a little redundant, and that's simply not the case with Cobra Kai. But also, I really lucked out, because coming on in the 5th season, now it's already on Netflix. It's worldwide distribution, so it kind of worked out better for me to come on later than sooner.
Yeah, and when you see how big it's becoming, as a guy who was in, as a younger kid in the Karate Kids, when you see how big, are you kind of sitting there, you call your agent, hey, see if can I get on this show?
Sure.
How does that work? Do you approach them? Do they call you? How does that work?
Well, I mean, look, they knew that I wanted to be a part of it. I mean, it wasn't a big secret, and I feel like I was kind of waiting on the bench for the coach to send me into the big game.
Right.
And, I do remember, I spoke with Josh Held. And he said, we're not bringing Mike Barnes on for season 4. And I was obviously disappointed.
Yeah.
But when season 5 rolled around, I was like, come on, man, it's got to be season 5. And, I of course got the call to go do it. And it was really an incredible experience for me.
Is it crazy to think of the franchise opening up? I mean, like 1988, 1989, and now we're in 2022, and it's like another iteration, another generation getting to like experience what we did with you and Ralph, and like just that whole feeling of good and bad and like winning, and I don't know. We learned so many lessons through that movie.
Right. I think one of the things that the big 3, the creators of the show, have done that is so brilliant and so difficult to do is that they have straddled 2 different age demographics. You've got the guys like us, Scott, that remember it for nostalgia, because we saw it when it first came out.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know about you, but I've still got one foot firmly entrenched in the 80s.
We're in there, bro. We're in there.
A lot like Johnny Lawrence. And then you've got the kids. So many of these kids didn't even know that that Cobra Kai came from source material from these films. And, here's what's interesting. It really, the show effectively functions as a magnet, because, in a time when, kids are usually so engrossed in the devices and all that sort of stuff, to get them to come out and watch something, presumably with their parents, it's kind of like a unifying element to it, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
It made me and my son actually watch Karate Kid all over again together. One and two. And I said, this is Mr. Miyagi. Like, this is who he is. Like,
the guy they're talking about, right?
Yeah, it was experiential. Yeah.
And it's fun. And I have a 21-year-old daughter. I have a 12-year-old daughter, and we're all watching the show. And then out of nowhere, when my 12-year-old kid has girlfriends over, they're like, "Oh, we're watching the Karate Kid movie. We wanted to see, Johnny and all these everybody." It's just it's fantastic. It really is.
It's not easy to write to appeal to two different age demographics. You laugh at different things. You have different pop cultural references and things like that, and they have completely succeeded in doing that. And that's part of the genius of the show.
So when the writers said they were going to bring you on, did you have any creative input as to where you saw your character, like where you thought he should be right now, or
I'm so humbled by the fact that Hayden couldn't be there, but John Hurwitz and Josh Held were so gracious, and they had a Zoom call with me. And I just said to them, guys, I would never be so presumptuous as to tell you guys how to do your show. I said, but if there are two things that I would love to politely suggest, the first is that I hope we see some evolution in the character, so that he's not this unidimensional thug that he was in the first one. And I said the second thing is that so much of the so much of the stock and trade of Cobra Kai is humor. And I do stand-up comedy, and I love comedy. And I said I really would like to have a few moments where we see that, Mike Barnes has got, he's got a funny side to him. And I think we were able to do that, with the scenes in the furniture store with Chosen. And so it ticked all the boxes for me.
I got to assume when you guys are doing this scene, the first fight scene in the furniture store, and everybody's getting their butts kicked, there's got to be a lot of stoppage for laughing, I would think. No?
There was some, because there are comedic aspects to most of the fight scenes. Chosen and Barnes are going at it, and then Daniel gets in the way and he gets punched. And there's a moment where we kind of snap our heads to each other, look at each other for a moment, kind of as an homage to the old Hong Kong martial arts movies, and get back into it. And, look, I've known Yuji, I've known Yuji for more than 25 years. Obviously, I've known Ralph since probably 88, and I've known Billy even longer. And, it was the first time I'd ever had the opportunity to work with Yuji. And, in that scene in episode 10, when it's me, Yuji, Billy, and Ralph, man, it just flowed, it was so much fun to film that scene, and I think it kind of permeated through when you watch it.
The one where you're driving the limo.
When I'm driving the limo, and I just
sorry.
Billy.
Don't ruin it. It's fine. But I gotta imagine what you could say on Netflix is so much different than what you can say on your other.
They I had a little bit of a potty mouth in the show. Argument takes life.
I love it, man. And out of the show, you have this new book called Way of the Cobra. Welcome. Is that Kumite? Is that pronounced Kumite?
Welcome to the Kumite.
Kumite.
Kumite. Welcome to the Kumite is my fourth book. It's a sequel to Way of the Cobra. Way of the Cobra was incredibly successful. We're on our third printing now, and it's been critically acclaimed, and it's a motivational self-help book. It's the philosophies and strategy that I've used in my life to achieve some of my success, to overcome some significant obstacles. And the structure of the book in Way of the Cobra, as is in Welcome to the Kumite, is that I'm the sensei and you're a student in my dojo. Cobra is an acronym.
What's it stand for?
It stands for characters. It stands for character, optimization, balance, respect, and abundance. It's funny. I stumbled on the first word, and I'll tell you why. I speak Italian, and I was doing interviews in Italy the whole time about the book, and so I'm used to saying carattere, which is character, saying it in Italian. So I was thinking in Italian for a second. And Welcome to the Kumite picks up where Way the Cobra left off. Kumite is a modality for training in traditional martial arts, but it also refers to an epic fight. And the metaphor for Welcome to the Kumite is conquer your greatest opponent, which of course is yourself.
Yeah.
And what does this require? Well, it requires a symbolic, metaphoric death. In other words, every day you're extinguishing the person that you were yesterday so that you can be reborn as a better version of yourself from the day before. And it's a constant and perpetual cycle of doing that to constantly improve yourself. And the idea is, you're preparing for the Kumite, the epic battle, and that epic battle is indeed with yourself.
Oh my God,
all right.
amazing.
Look, I just learned something new.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I learned something new too.
And speaking of Italy and Kumite and battles, I believe that's you on the Italian version of Dancing with the Stars, right?
Ballando con le Stelle. Yes, that is me. that was an amazing experience.
No American version? I could see you on that show, man.
Listen, if they call and they want my 2 left feet on the show, I'm happy to.
So, Sean, how do you speak Italian fluently? May I ask?
So, one of the few smart things that I've done in my life was when I realized how popular Bold and the Beautiful was in Italy. It's a top show in Italy. I said, if I can learn to speak Italian, maybe I can open up having this whole sort of second career in Europe. And so I just really diligently studied private lessons, classes. I still study. Wow. Now when I go to Italy, I'm able to do my interviews in Italian, and I did this show Verissimo in Italian. And
are they surprised at how you've thrown yourself into this language, the culture, in terms of really communicating with them on their level, in their natural language?
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It really does. And also my ability to speak Italian opens up the possibility of me, working in Italian productions.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So that's been really exciting. So now I've been studying Mandarin for 2 years, and that's so I can embarrass myself in 2 languages.
And listen, we'll talk about the soaps, Deacon and
General Hospital,
AJ
Quartermain on General. You go back to some of these shots, man, and look at you and Steve Burton.
Look at this, the acid wash jeans.
Yeah, I mean, look,
it's all coming back, Sean. It's all coming back.
Look at that, huh?
I mean, it's unbelievable. And of course, Steve Burton, Jason, huge character on that show. And I mean, look at you guys, right? It's just, it's so funny to see. And then, you got you and we've had Maurice has been on the show, just a fantastic guest. And,
yes, he is. He's a great guy. He's a good friend.
Yeah. And you just,
even though
yeah, you're right. He's the one, he knocked you off, right? He took you out of that show. Yeah. And it's just so great. But do people mostly associate you, like when they recognize you on the street?
Deacon?
Is it Deacon? Is it Cobra Kai? What are they seeing more right now?
I would say it's kind of a toss up between Mike. It's a toss up between the 3. It really is. It's funny. My wife pointed something out to me, and I hadn't realized it, and I hope this doesn't sound like I'm humble bragging, but she said, "Do you realize that you're a part of the #1 show in the world, Cobra Kai, and a part of the #1 daytime show in the world, Bold and the Beautiful?" And I was like, "Wow!" When you put it like that, I mean, I've been, one thing I've done really well in my career is grab the coattails of things that are much bigger than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really, it's amazing. I remember the first time I realized what a phenomenon Bold and the Beautiful was when I was with my parents. I think we were in Arizona, and a woman came up to me, and I later learned she was speaking Polish, and she was a huge fan of Bold and the Beautiful, which is, I believe it's called Modus is Sukces in Poland. And, it's in like 40 countries. And then, of course, Cobra Kai is probably in 60 or 70 countries.
Yeah.
So
it's wild, man. It's wild. And now, when I know there's going to be a season 6, are you?
Well, they haven't announced it yet, but
I thought they said they were coming back for a 6. No,
did they announce? I've been out of the country for 3 weeks, so I don't think they have.
Okay, all right.
But I read some statistic that Cobra Kai had eclipsed 2 billion minutes of
viewing,
viewership. So I mean, I would be very surprised if it doesn't come back for season 6.
And also, how great is Martin Cove on that show? I mean, he was great in the old movie, and he's great now.
He's great, and he's Marty's a dear friend.
Yeah.
You know, Marty and I did a play together years ago. We did True West, and you know, he's somebody that I've kept in touch with, and I'm so happy for him. You know, to re-achieve this kind of success at this point in his career is just amazing, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and Suki mentioned right when you came on. I mean, you got the Emmy for Studio City, which is on Amazon right now, right?
Amazon Prime, yeah.
And you're producing that show also.
Yeah, I created it. Yeah, that's my baby.
That's great.
My wife and I, and a guy named Timothy Woodward Jr. are the executive producers and head writers. Wow. And it's just been a phenomenal experience. And we are in the process now of cutting a deal that's going to take it worldwide to multiple platforms. Wow. And it's taken me over 15 years to get that show made. And it really is kind of a testament to, you know, don't take no for an answer. Just keep grinding, and dreams can come true.
All we keep saying is all we need is one yes.
That's how we feel about this show, Sean.
Yeah, you know, and listen, keep doing it because you'll get it.
Yeah. Just keep grinding. Just need the one yes. And I also noticed that we have a fellow who we became very friendly with because he's been on the show a few times with his movies. Shane Stanley.
Shane,
I saw you did a movie with Shane, and I was like, he's promised us, Sean. He's promised us, by the way, that he was putting us in one of those movies coming up soon.
He did.
And he emails me. He's like, dude, he will. He's so great. I love Shane. But what?
Guy. I did 2 films with him. I did a film called My Trip to the Dark Side, and then we did a sequel called My Trip Back to the Dark Side.
That's very funny. We had Steve Guttenberg.
The Goot.
Steve was on promote. Hold on, I just want to see if I can find it real quick and bring it up.
It's the funniest, Sean. When I tell you it was the funniest hour, I mean, we spent an hour and a half with him.
Sean, twice, right, Suk? Sean, he came on.
Not once, twice.
Trying to promote this movie. Hold on, I just want to see if I
forgot the name of the movie all this time.
Yeah, it was an action movie that he was in. And let me just see if I can pull it up real quick. But he could not. Oh, here it is. He could not get his he calls in from like the desert. He's visiting his parents. There's no Wi-Fi.
He was with his parents.
So we have a new thing. He came on to promote a Shane Stanley movie. And this is really kind of what we got. Watch.
Compares to the 80s Ranch.
I can't believe I can't hear you.
He can't hear you.
Is this true?
And his signal just cleared up beautifully for us.
Yeah, he cleared right up. Maybe Steve needs headphones with his phone. That could be it, Sue.
Might be more than that.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh
yes.
You know, it's...
Come on, little guy.
Why does he always freeze good looking? Like he never goes he never looks strange.
Suki, does this mean we won't be able to do the Steve Guttenberg movie synopsis quiz?
Damn. Stevie G.
So I'm having flashbacks of my parents when they first got the answer.
Yeah, right.
It's like, Michelle, how do I work this thing?
I can't hear them.
This, Catskill Jewish accent, which he doesn't, but yeah, and then you hear them arguing as it's it's recorded.
Right. Oh my god!
Now I'm that guy. Now I'm that guy because I'm not real tech savvy. My wife is like my IT guy.
It's amazing.
Has to bail me out. Yeah, she's great.
I love it, man. Well, Sean, listen, thank you so much for coming on, bud. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if I can do one gratuitous plug.
Absolutely, man.
Please pick up my new book, Welcome to the Kumite. The only place it's available right now is at wayofthecobra.com. It will be available on Amazon, but not for a couple months. And Way of the Cobra is available on Amazon. So please pick it up. You won't be sorry.
And coming up on December.
Everybody is once again. Like life lessons, how to get beyond yourself. You're kind of the guru, right? A sensei.
Well, yeah. And I have a great event coming up at the Barnes & Noble at the Grove in Los Angeles, Saturday, December 10th.
Love that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic one. It's their flagship store, Saturday, December 10th at 3 p.m. It's free and open to the public. Lots of celebrity surprise guests, including Clint Howard, who, you guys have, I was watching in the green room. I could have just watched Clint singing for like an hour.
Right, yeah. Oh, believe me, that clip will go up. That'll be up, that clip.
Love that.
So funny.
But
Sean,
thank you so much for having me on, you guys. I really appreciate it. And I want to wish you all the best, and I hope we can do this again.
Thank you, Sean. Anytime, my man. You got it, buddy. Happy holidays.
All right, guys.
Bye. All right, pal. Suk, just great. You know what I love about, I mean, these guys are huge stars and they're just so nice and humble. And, he's a good looking dude. And, it's just.
He's a polyglot. He speaks 2 different languages. He's a sensei in the Kumite. I love how he talks about, just the fact that every day you got to aspire to be just a little bit better.
Yeah. Speaking of sensei and the Kumite, Suk.
Hey!
Yeah, I mean, I hate to, come in after that guy. He's got the lean, perfect face, straight nose, head full of, awesome hair, soap opera looks. But hey, we all got our things, I guess.
Philly, you know what though? He didn't work behind the scenes in Tulsa King, so you got that going for you.
Sniper. He's not a vet. He's not. He hasn't given back the way you have given back to society. So we all do our things differently, there, Philly baby.
That's true. That's true. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Good, Philly kid. Yeah, you had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, awesome. Family was here, and Christmas is coming up, so family's going to start coming. My sons are going to come back in from California here in a couple days, spend the holidays, and it's going to be nice.
Beautiful.
Suk, listen, I like the new room. I'm excited. We're going to fix up the back behind you.
You can see the mess everywhere on the floor. It's kind of funny, but
we may have to get a new window shade, with our logo on it. We'll just
maybe that might be a good place. Just put the window shade and just have a logo right there.
That's it. Great show today. Suker, I'll see you when I see you, babe.
I'll see you when I see you.
Listen,
see you, my friend.
we got a bunch of shows next week, so we'll be a little busy. But for this week, just the one.
Don't do too much next week, all right? Because I'm a little.
Yeah, no. It won't be too much. Just a little here and there. Keith David's coming on next week.
All right, bye guys. Goodbye.
Whoa,
bye, Sue. Philly kid, you know who Keith David is?
Yeah. They've been in everything, man. I followed that guy for many, many years.
He's been in everything. Clint Howard on today. Sean Kanan. What a good show. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. What's going on with you, my man? Everything's good?
Everything is doing really good. I mean,
Philly, before I forget, I need you tomorrow. One of our biggest fans, Jeannie Clay. Tomorrow is her birthday. I promised, since we're not on tomorrow, that we would mention it today. Big happy birthday to Jeannie. And if you want to give her a little happy birthday, I'm sure she probably wouldn't mind.
Hey, everyone knows that on the Suki and Scott show, we aim to please, especially our fans. So a little something like this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jeannie. Happy birthday to you, and many more.
La-dee-da-dee.
Happy birthday, Jeannie.
Oh man, Philly, have you been putting up songs lately, or you kind of been taking it easy lately?
No, I put on a song.
You've been singing? You've been singing new ones?
Yeah, a song or two every single day.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. In fact, I just put one up right before the show that, hopefully Facebook doesn't ban me because it has to do with God and guns.
Oh.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I put up songs that you and I do that are karaoke versions of songs, and I get the old red flags on them. I don't know if you ever get those, but
Yeah,
it's just I'm like it's karaoke music. It's not the real music.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you just have to submit a dispute and send it in, and hopefully they don't take it down.
Usually you get through it, but you want to do a little singing right now, my man? What do you got? What do you want to do?
Yes. So I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news, but Christine McVie,
yes,
Fleetwood Mac, passed away yesterday.
Mm.
And I don't know about you, but she was a big part of my growing up years, and just one of my, Fleetwood Mac was one of my favorite groups of all time.
Absolutely.
And she was a heck of a songwriter, and she actually wrote this Fleetwood Mac song, and it goes a little something like this. Excuse me. Can you hear me calling out your name? You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. I'll speak a little louder. I'll even shout. You know that I'm proud and I can't get the words out. Oh, I want to be with you everywhere. Oh, I want to be with you everywhere. Can you hear me calling out your name? You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. Come along, baby. We better make a start. You better make it soon before you break my heart. Oh, I want to be with you everywhere. Oh, I want to be with you everywhere.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs of all times.
Oh my God. I mean, they have so many. What was the one? I just had one in my head and I just lost it. Give me a couple of names, Philly Kid. I just lost all my Fleetwood Mac. Just went right out of my disc. Rhiannon. Or
Rhiannon.
Or you could go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. You can go your own way.
See what else I got.
Yeah, man, they had some
dreams.
Fleetwood Mac. Didn't they lose? Did they lose somebody else from Fleetwood Mac recently, or is she the only one?
I don't know. There's been 6 or 7 members over the years with breakups and people getting back in the group and just new members of groups.
Mick Fleetwood, John, Stevie Nicks. Yeah, no, not that I know of. But dude, now are you watching Tulsa King?
Yes, of course.
Pretty good, right? Getting good reviews.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's really good.
And how about Yellowstone?
Yellowstone? Yeah, I've been I'm on episode 3 of Yellowstone, and
this year?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah. No. I actually started all the way over. Episode
3 from the beginning.
Episode 3 from the beginning.
Oh,
and,
okay.
People, you're gonna have to watch it, but I just can't make up my mind about John Dutton. I don't. He may be a good guy, but he.
You got to see him this season as the guy. He's the governor of Montana.
Oh wow! Yeah, I'm building up to that one.
Yeah. He's I know he loves his family, but everybody else, man, he's an SOB.
Yeah, you don't want to be on his bad side or be in his way of something, because you may or may not live through the night. I don't.
All the women love Rip.
Oh yeah,
they love Rip.
Yeah.
They love Beth. She's great in this next season too. She's really good.
Yeah. I'm building up to. I'm gonna watch all of those.
Oh man, it's great. And there's one other you have to watch if you didn't yet. White Lotus on HBO. Have you seen that yet?
I have not.
Yeah, you got to watch that. It's really good. It's 2 seasons, but each season's a totally different thing. But season 1, you got to catch it. It takes place at this hotel, this resort in Hawaii, and all the guests, everybody's got their own crap going on, and it's quite entertaining. It's really good. And the guy who runs the hotel is a complete lunatic, and it's really good. It's funny. It's there's all kinds of dark stuff going on, and it's very good. Second season, yeah, they went over to Italy to another White Lotus, not as great, but the first one was really good. You got to check it out.
Yeah, and I get on my if you have these smart TVs now, which everybody does because that's all you can buy anymore, but you have the option to buy all these streaming services, and there are so many series going on. You can't. Hey, have you seen this one? Well, let me buy that channel.
Right.
When it's all said and done, you're paying. Yeah,
we're on all of them, Philly kid.
Yeah, you're paying $800 a month for all these streaming services, so you see all these shows. But what kills me is I'm an actor. I've mentioned that a time or two. And
you.
And so you see all these fantastic shows on these streaming services, and I'm like, can a guy get a job? And
right, there's so many jobs open.
I mean, just anything. Let me open the door for Mr. Stallone as he walks into the the building. So yeah, it's watching all kinds of shows. Watching Tulsa King, Yellowstone. There's another one called Counterpart with J.K. Simmons. It actually came out a couple of years ago, which I'm finishing it up. It's a good one. J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is the man.
White Lotus. You got to check that one out. It's good.
Okay, I will. I will look at it.
You want to sing us home? Hey, listen, you'll be singing Christmas songs pretty soon, I think.
Yeah. My wife has been after me. She said, "Hey, how come you're not posting Christmas songs?" I'm like, "Hey, the chief has spoken, so that's gonna be happening."
It just turned December 1.
Yeah. Hey, so anyway, this female singer who's been around forever, and she's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
She sang this song, and I'm going to sing a verse from it and see if you can tell me the name of the singer. It's her birthday today.
Go ahead.
She was born December 1st, 1945, and it goes something like this. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long.
Bette Midler.
Right. And you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong. Just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, lies the sea that with the sun's love in the spring. Scotty?
Becomes the rose, and the night has been too lonely, and the wind has been too strong.
I was gonna give you that hint, or did you ever know that you're my hero and everything I would like to be? I can fly higher than an eagle. Scotty?
You are the wind beneath my wings. Did you ever know that you're my hero? I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. Only a face without a name.
So I got another singer with a birthday today.
Go ahead.
December 1st, 1933. And it goes a little something like this.
Go ahead.
You'll never find as long as you live
Blue Rolls,
someone who loves you tender like I do. you'll never find.
Ba, ba,
No
ba, da, da.
matter where you search, someone who cares about you the way I do. Oh, I'm not bragging on myself, baby. Scotty.
Keep going, Philly. Keep going.
But I'm the one who loves you, and there's no one else.
No
one else.
You'll never see. Do, 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 do.
Okay, this one may be a little bit harder, Scotty.
Go ahead.
This singer also has a birthday today, December 1st, 1934. And this was a big hit back in the day.
Go ahead.
It goes a little something like this. Me and Mrs. Jones, we got a thing going on. We both know that it's wrong, but it's much too strong to let it go now. We meet every day at the same cafe, 6:30, and no one knows she'll be there. Holding hands, making all kinds of plans, while the jukebox plays our favorite song. Scotty.
Me and Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones.
We got a
thing going on.
Did you name that singer?
Oh, Billy Paul, I think it was.
Yes.
Ann Rothney. I didn't know Billy Paul, but Ann Rothney was the one who got the correct answer on that one, Philly Kid.
Nice.
All right, take us home, baby. Give us a little encore. We'll wrap this bad boy up.
Oh, it's all right. Have a good time, 'cause it's all right. Whoa, it's all right. We'll say goodbye. Have a good time on the Suki and Scott show. Yeah, it's all right. And we'll see you next time.
Nice, Philly Kid. Love it, baby. Love it. Listen, everybody's calling for a new duet. We got to get that in the can somewhere along the line.
Yeah, let me see what we can do here.
Need a new song. Need a good song. Upbeat, positive, and happy-go-lucky. Anyway, Philly Kid, good to see you back on the program, my friend.
Good to be back.
I'll leave you with Clint Howard and the Kepsters. This was terrific, boy. What an acting career. Unbelievable, Philly Kid. Over 250 credits. Unbelievable.
Wow.
He's got that look, man. He's got that look. Philly Kid, have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week. Love you.
Love y'all.
Chased from the lines, beat up